data?
Well, we have 45 letters that were sent to us, and we're working in good faith to make sure we communicate
But it's really
reasonably.
simple. I'm just trying to get the data on how many public universities and private universities have had claims approved under this loan discharge program.
I'm sure that information could be gathered, and I'll have my team reach out to yours.
I appreciate that. I'm kind of looking for a date.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll have my team reach out to yours to share with you a date that you can receive that information. It's important that you have the information, and
I would agree too, and with as much money as we give the Department of Education and as much as we care about the students, I would think somebody has this data.
Yeah.
So you want to say August 1st? That's like 3 months. I would think we could be able to get this data in a 3-month period of time.
Yeah, we think it's really important to communicate with you, and I'll have my team reach out to yours to share a timeline of when we can get that information to you.
Am I the only one that thinks that? Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your speedy expedience on this. Okay. I understand that there's also been a lot of FOIA requests made by private organizations and institutions trying to get information on these claims and have not received them yet. Has your department been processing and responding to these requests?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Department of Education is committed to being very clear and providing information with oversight. We take that very seriously.
We just
We're
don't
very
take the
responsive.
timeline seriously.
We've provided over 2,400 pages of documents in this Congress alone. We've responded to 45 letters this Congress alone, and we're going to continue to take that very seriously.
How many
because
employees do you
oversight
have
is
in the
important.
department? How many employees do you have in your department, and what's your budget?
Roughly under 4,000.
Under 4, okay. So I'm going to take that as a yes, you have been processing and responding to these FOIA requests?
We take that very seriously, and we have
That's a
been.
great answer to a question I didn't ask. So can we just stick with the question? Yes or no? We learned that early in education. Has your department been processing and responding to the FOIA requests? Yes, they have. No, they haven't. I'll even accept an I don't know.
Yeah, we take FOIA requests very seriously, and we have been responding.
So yes.
We take FOIA requests very seriously, and we have been responding.
What color is your suit?
I'd be happy to focus on our
Some
budget.
respect for the secretary.
I'm just trying to figure out if we can answer a question.
I'd be happy to
All right.
speak.
What a critically embarrassing performance by our Secretary of Education. Just answer, yes, I'm responding, no, I'm responding, no, yes, maybe. Answer some question from the Congresswoman McClain, because this is getting extremely embarrassing, and it's getting so much PR speak that my head is spinning, probably even less, but probably even more, I don't know, than yours. Because it's frustrating as anything when a witness just won't answer a question. Now, I understand why they have to evade the question, because if they lie under oath, they're in massive trouble, and sometimes simply answering yes or no is very hard. But the fact is that if you say we have been, are you now, yes or no? Because if you have been, you should still be. It's that simple of a question. But apparently our own education secretary can't even answer that. And it's really funny that the congressman has to remind him that in basic education, yes or no questions are very common. It's embarrassing to have this come up at every single time we have one of these hearings, where these people refuse to make any kind of commitment to the people that are overseeing them, and even furthermore, by not answering these questions, a commitment to us, the American public. They are not elected. We elect the members on that dais to ask these questions on our behalf, and these smug bureaucrats won't answer questions. Why not? Because they know that the minute they answer the question, they're going to be in trouble and be held accountable. So the more they do these mealy-mouth PR speak, the more they can wiggle out post-testimony and say, well, I didn't really mean that. It got so absurd in this line of questionings that he would not answer and didn't have the data for, which again, unprepared and embarrassing. And it looks like they've asked dozens of times, and other organizations have asked dozens of times for this same information. I'd be mortally embarrassed if I was the Secretary of Education's boss, i.e. the president, And my education secretary literally sounds like he's never took a lick of schooling in his entire life and can't even answer basic stats and basic questions that they've been asking for months. Obviously, the education secretary has not been respecting the timeline of Congress, and as many times he said he's answered things and provided 2,400 documents. Please, I've seen FOIAs with tens of thousands of pages come across my desk before. I'm sitting here watching going, oh, 2,400 pages? That's not a lot at all. That's like maybe a day's work in the Department of Education, maybe a day of emailing, at most, at best. The fact that he cannot provide these stats and has been unwilling and unable to for the past few months, and it seems like this drama is going to continue, is just a 100% perfect picture of the American bureaucracy and the bureaucratic state right now. It's damning, it's devastating, it's awful for the American public because they're not answering our questions, they're not answering the private organizations we donate to or the journalism places we read, and they're not even answering their own bosses, members of Congress. It really is kind of shocking at this point. But the icing on the cake here, the icing on the cake is when Representative McClain asked him, what color is your suit? I mean, the poor congressman is just looking for an answer at this point. And generally, I don't side with the people in Congress because I know that they're doing this for political motivation too, for donors, for donations, but I can feel and understand her frustration having been in a situation before where I was asking for a FOIA and this, that, and that came up, and they tried to burden me with a cost. So quite frankly, it's really shocking how little and how unintelligent our own education secretary is in his own office and what his own budget is.